Looking back, I was so detached. I was numb. Not because I didn't care, but because caring too deeply felt dangerous. Survival became my personality. Not because I wanted it, but because I needed it.
Real talk, real change. It's a brand new page through the
Some losses don't just take people. They take pieces of you. Pieces of who you used to be. Pieces of where you used to belong. And pieces of the identity you were trying so hard to hold together. Loss is not just sadness. Loss rearranges you. I know this all too well because I lived it. Yeah, I lived it. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk, Real Change podcast. I am your host, Tonya Reese, and today we're going somewhere deep. We're talking about the kind of loss that doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your identity. The kind of loss that doesn't just take people, it takes pieces of you. If you've ever felt like life took something you're still trying to recover, this episode is for you. It is entitled, When Loss Takes More Than People, It Takes Pieces of You. Let's get into it. I will never forget growing up that day, that one day where my entire life was sitting outside on the lawn. Our furniture, our clothes, our memories, all strewn on the lawn. Strangers were driving by, walking by, looking through things, touching stuff, and asking if it was for sale. They weren't just looking through belongings. They were looking through my story. They were looking through my life. They were looking through everything that was familiar to me. I didn't have the language for it then. But that day, I didn't just lose my apartment, lost my safety, my stability. I lost the feeling of having a place where I belonged. And to experience loss like that, and it didn't stop there. As I grew older, life continued taking things from me. By the time I was 45, I had lost every single member of my immediate family. No mother, no father, no sister, and no brother. No familiar voices. No one left who remembered my childhood, who shared my jokes or remembered my stories or would say, I knew you when. There's a unique kind of loneliness that hits when you are the last one standing from the people who shaped your earliest world. And I learned something very painful. Family doesn't just hold your history. Family holds your identity. All of that lost didn't just hurt me. It shaped me to the point that even my children experienced my pain. I didn't fall apart visibly. No one would have looked at me and said, she's breaking. What I did was I learned how to function dysfunctionally. I learned how to survive, how to stay busy, how to keep moving, how to take life one day at a time with no real sense of self. Looking back, I was so detached. I was numb. Not because I didn't care, but because caring too deeply felt dangerous. Survival became my personality, not because I wanted it, but because I needed it. All of that pain, that hurt, and that disappointment showed up in my relationships. I had 2 failed marriages and did not know how to be in love. Not truly. I knew how to serve. I knew how to show up. I knew how to take care of things. I knew how to be responsible. I knew how to be loyal, but I didn't know how to receive love, rest in love, or trust love. And I certainly did not know how to love. I had no idea what real love was like. I had never experienced it. So I did what a lot of women do when love feels foreign. I performed. I wasn't connecting. I was auditioning. I wasn't being loved. I was earning loved. I wasn't building intimacy. I was managing my fears. I wasn't cold. I was unrooted. I wasn't unloving. I was unanchored. And I wasn't distant. I was afraid. When love has never felt safe, you don't lean into it. You brace yourself for the moment when you feel like it's gonna leave. It becomes an expectation. After losing so much, after surviving for so long, after 2 marriages and so many lonely moments, I finally had to ask myself, who am I when I'm not performing? Who am I when I'm not pretending I am okay? And who am I when I'm not surviving? Who am I when there's no one left to call me theirs? That question shook me to my core. I didn't know how to handle it. It was foreign. But what I learned was in that place, the place where I felt stripped, the place where loss had taken so much that God began to rebuild me, not with roles, not with people, not with titles, but with identity. Identity that couldn't be abandoned, identity that couldn't be evicted, identity that could not die. God whispered, I have called you by name. You are mine. He says in Isaiah 43:1. When I felt unseen, he became El Roi, the God who sees me. Genesis 16:13. When I had no family left, he received me. Psalms 27:10. When I didn't know who I was, he reminded me, you are loved, you are chosen, you are known, and you belong to me. Wow, what an awesome God we serve. And because of this now known knowledge is why this episode is so important. Because before we can embrace our identity in Christ, we have to confront the identities that grief, loss, trauma, and survival tried to give us. So in 2 weeks, we begin a 6-part series on identity in Christ. Yes, we'll have therapists, coaches, ministers, and even a male pastor that will come and help us uncover who we truly are, not according to pain, not according to brokenness, but according to God. This season is about rediscovering the parts of you that loss tried to take. And I promise you, God is restoring every single piece. Thank you for joining me on the Real Talk, Real Change podcast. Make sure you come back and join us again. Hey sis, before I let you go, I want to help you not just hear encouragement, but begin to live it on purpose. That's why I created the Lux Life Planner, a one-stop, all-in-one space to organize your life, protect your peace, and become who God called you to be. It is a yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily planner all in one place, where your vision board, your goals, your prayers, your water tracking, your habits, your budget, and your schedule can finally live together instead of scattered in 5 different notebooks and apps. Because sis, you're not scattered. You're becoming focused. And additionally, the Becoming Her calendars, you have got to see how gorgeous these absolutely are. The Becoming Her fashion and purpose calendar gives you monthly wardrobe inspiration, elegant lifestyle planning, and space to reflect on how you're showing up as her. The graceful, confident, purposeful woman you're becoming. And the Becoming Her spiritual identity calendar goes even deeper with monthly affirmations, scriptures, identity reminders, and space to write your intentions, your prayers, and your goals every single month. I'm telling you, these tools aren't just paper, they are reminders, they are anchors, they are transformation in written form. How much better can we get than that? They help you live intentionally, dress intentionally, pray intentionally, show up intentionally, and become intentionally. So if you're ready to stop just hoping for change and start living as the woman you're becoming, you can find them now on my Etsy shop. The link will be provided in the show notes below. Just search for Real Talk, Real Change, or click the link in my bio. Now, sis, let's become her on purpose. Thank you for joining me today on the Real Talk, Real Change podcast, where we don't hide from our story, we rise from our story. If this episode reminded you that you are seen, loved, and never forgotten, share it with another woman who may be silently hurting during this season, because healing grows deeper when we grow through it together. To watch the full episode or to join the Butterfly Tribe community, a space for healing, identity, and becoming, come connect with me on YouTube at Real Talk, Real Change Podcast, or use the link in the show notes. And sis, if you're ready to start living on purpose, planning with purpose, and becoming her intentionally, you can find the Lux Life Planner, the Becoming Her Identity Calendar, and the Becoming Her Fashion and Purpose Calendar in my Etsy shop. You can search Simply Digital TK or click the link in the show notes. Now, sis, walk in identity, not in how you feel, but in who God called you to be. Because you are seen, you are chosen, and you still belong. I'll see you in the next episode.
Real talk.